All right, so what I wanted to tell you about, this is our American History 131, is look, this is an extra credit assignment known as, legendary extra credit. And the legendary extra credit for this class is all about tall tales. Part of the early America is that expanding westward and that westward push and about pioneering. And so, it's looking at Daniel Boone. It's looking at quite a few other characters along that time, whether it be Davy Crockett or any of the other folks, especially as they push farther out west. So the idea is you are supposed to gather one of those legendary figures, one of those tall tales they tell about them, because these tales, these stories kind of grow in the telling along the way. So what I want you to do is either find a tall tale to retell or create one of your own imagining about a legendary character, and with them go ahead and produce an artifact that goes with the tall tale. And so what I've done is I bought my artifact, and my artifact right here is actually a tornado in a bottle. And so let me tell you a little bit about Pecos Bill. Here we go. All right, so Pecos Bill. Pecos Bill is a cowboy. He is a cowboy's cowboy. As a matter of fact, Pecos Bill's parents used to live out there in that west, the far west, not the near west, but the far west. They lived out on the edge of Texas, and they lived in a town, and they weren't town people. As a matter of fact, after Pecos Bill was born, he's about 2 years old, they decided the town was getting too busy, too citified. That wasn't good for folks. And so they decided they was going to move further and further out west. So what they're doing is they tossed everything in the covered wagon, and well, hell, they don't need nobody else but themselves and the kids, and so they're going to toss the kids up there. They're going to toss baby Pecos. He's there as well. Good old Bill's there. And as they move westward, what's going to happen is they're going to run into some trouble, and right around the Pecos River, Bill, while they're busy getting everything together, Bill, he's only about 2 years old. He's going to fall out the wagon, and they're going to be so busy they're not going to realize he done fell out the wagon. But don't worry about Bill, because he's a tough kid, and he's going to be found by coyotes, and he's going to find this pack of coyotes. They're going to find him, and they're going to raise him up just like he was a pup. And what the thing is he's going to grow. Wow. Well, that's okay, because eventually his parents are going to realize after a couple of years he's missing, and his brother will go back and he'll find him. And Bill, he's a bit of a numbskull, but his brother's going to teach him he ain't a coyote. He's going to bring him back to civilization. Well, look, Bill's a wild boy, and he's living out in the wild West Texas, and so he is a rootin' tootin' cowboy. There was nothing he couldn't ride. There was nothing he couldn't rope. And he's always bragging. His horse is called Widowmaker, because it's done kicked off enough cowboys, killed enough cowboys, nobody can ride it but Bill. Well, look, he's even got himself a 6-shooter, and he's got him a lasso, but he doesn't make use with any old lasso. He actually gets him a big old rattlesnake and makes a lasso out of that. Well, look, Bill is sitting in the saloon, he's having a drink or two, and he's talking to the fellers, and he's bragging on them again and saying, well, hell, I can rope and ride anything that's living. I can rope and ride anything that I can get my lasso into. And they're giving Bill a hard time when way out on the edge of the horizon, there's this huge storm coming up. And Bill is spinning his yarn, and he is talking, this storm's coming closer and coming closer. And the boys are saying, well, Bill, what about that storm? You think you can ride that storm? Can't you get your lasso up around it? He said, well, hell, boys, there ain't nothing to ride about a storm. You can't lasso nothing. Now, if there was a twister or something, sure as hell I could ride that, and I'd show you how it's done. And about that time, there's a twister that spawns in that big old storm, and the rain and the wind and the thunder, it's all over the place. And this twister's headed right towards the town, and the boys are saying, Bill, look, that's a twister. And the twister, it looks like it's 6 miles wide. It's going to wipe out the town. And they say, Bill, hell, you got to help us here, Bill. You said you could tame that twister. Get out there, boy. And he's going to, let me show you how it's done. And he's going to jump on Widowmaker's back, and he's going to go ahead and grab his lasso and go, well, hell, this ain't near long enough to get up to the twister. And so as he's riding straight at that twister into the middle of the storm, he's going to swing by and grab one of them there barbed wire fences and just rip it out of the post. And he's going to go ahead and as he's riding, rip it and rip it and rip it and rip it and gather more and more and more. And then he's going to go ahead and fashion one of them there big lassos out of pure old barbed wire. And what he'll do as he's riding up, getting close, he's going to be swinging that lasso and swinging that lasso. He's going to cast it out. snare him, that big old tornado. And then what he'll do is, sure as hell, he'll go ahead and pull himself up on top and saddle up that tornado and sure, yeah, he's going to go ahead and ride that tornado. And he's trying to turn it. As he's turning it, he's trying to turn it away from town. And he's noticed he's got control of it. And he's going to keep on riding. And as he's riding it, he's noticed it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller because he's wearing it down. What he'll do is he said, you know what? I'm going to show those old boys I know what the heck I've been doing. And he's going to ride it back into town. And as he's slowly getting into town, he gets to the general store out there on the edge of town and says, well, these fellas aren't going to believe me because it's going to be done gone by the time I get there. When he notices a little milk bottle sitting on the porch at the general store, he says, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and capture that varmint here in the milk bottle. And what he'll do is he'll pop it into the milk bottle and put a cap on it like that. And then he'll bring it back to town and say, look, I want you varmints to know that I went ahead and I caught me that storm. I went ahead and caught me that tornado. And here's what's left of it right here in this here bottle. So now y'all don't mess with me because if I let it out, you'll be sorry then. All right? And that's the story of Pecos Bill. So what you want to do is you want to either tell your own yarn or create your own yarn. Make sure that you have a nice artifact, a nice prop with which to do it. Record it and then post it for us all to see. Thank you.